Hey guys, so it's me. I'm back, and I know you guys are like, where the heck has she been? But I'm back. Um, I'm recording a different kind of way, so I'm testing this out. So I hope this video is clear and you guys can see me and hear me perfectly fine. Um, so I'm back. Um, don't mind my little head scarf. I'm deep conditioning now, so I didn't want to come on with my deep conditioning cap and stuff. But anyway, so I'm back. And I know that I have been gone for a while, and you guys are probably like, what happened to her cycle? So, um, as you guys know, I took my second round of Femera after having the ectopic pregnancy, and unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way I would have hoped, or I guess the way that I expected it to turn out. And when it didn't work out, like, but even before it didn't work out, like I could feel myself getting like anxious and like disappointed because I kind of like I knew that it wasn't gonna work, but I was still trying to hold on to some hope. And this time around, like I had like tons of symptoms that would have left someone to believe that they was pregnant. So the day of my blood test, um, like I was anxious and I was like I guess agitated or aggravated. Um, so Carl decided to take that morning off, and we went to the movies to see The Equalizer. And then, well, earlier that day, I had taken a pregnancy test because I refused to take a pregnancy test. So I waited until that day, and I think I may have taken one the day before, and it came out negative. So I kind of already knew that when they were gonna call, but you still like hold on to hope that maybe like your test is wrong or something. So when we came from out of the movie, I had went to the bathroom and my period was there. So um, I wasn't upset at that point because it was kind of like that's what I wanted. Like I wanted if my period was gonna come, like I wanted it to come. I wanted it to come fast so I could move on to my next cycle. So um, later that day, they had called me, of course, to tell me that my beta was negative, and like I know for me, and I'm sure for other women, like the way that you get over like the cycle not working, especially if you're in treatment, is knowing what your next step is moving forward. So when the woman called, she wasn't my nurse. But all she wanted to tell me was that it was negative and that I needed to call and reschedule, and schedule what was going to happen like the following day. But I didn't want to wait until the following day. Like I wanted to schedule what was happening now. Like I have my period, so on day 3, I'm supposed to come in to take my Femera and get my blood work done. And like I wanted to schedule that because at that point, that was what was going to make me feel better about my cycle not working. So the lady was very rude and just not good. So that was what made me like burst into tears. So like I was crying and I called Carl and like of course he's upset now. So of course he gets on the phone and like I love my husband because in in this journey, like if you're going through like fertility treatments and stuff, it is like extremely like amazing and definitely good if your spouse is active in like what's going on because there is going to be stuff that you just mentally and physically can't deal with. And like at that point, like I couldn't deal with like her attitude, and I'm usually able like to tell somebody in the blink of an eye like where they can go, how to get there, but like I just emotionally like I couldn't deal. So he called and he spoke to the head of nurse. So now I actually am seen by the head nurse that runs all of the nurses because he explained the situation to her and she was extremely apologetic and like they know me like I'm not like one of those crazy women or whatever. Like everybody knows who I am at the office and stuff. So I didn't know who this other person was that called. So anyway, so I went in, I got my blood work done and stuff, and I was able to start the Femera again. So I was excited again because, as you guys know, me and Carl celebrated our 7th year anniversary, and like, of course, my goal was to be pregnant by our 7th year of marriage because 7 is the number of completion. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. So when I took the next round, like I was like, okay, well, it didn't work out that way, but with me taking the Femera, it would line up to the point that when I ovulated, I would have been ovulating on exactly on our 7th year anniversary. So I was excited again. So on my mid-cycle scan, I went October 11th. My follicles were, I had one on the left and one on the right, and they both were measuring a 13 and a 14. So the doctors like to see at minimum a 15. So that means I needed to take the Femera again. I've always, in my last 2 cycles of taking the Femera, I still responded to the medication, but I never had to be redosed. Like whenever I went for a mid-cycle scan, like my follicles would be the size that they needed to be. So it was a bit discouraging, and me and Carl went away for one night for our anniversary, and I didn't want it to damper like what we had going on, but like your mind is constantly like thinking, and like I wanted it to be like special, like like our baby was conceived on our anniversary, like in love and yada yada yada. It didn't work out that way, so but we still had like an amazing time, and I'll probably insert some pictures in here so you guys can see it. So basically, I had to up my dose of Femera um, to help grow my follicles bigger, and I did that. So I finished my last 3 pills yesterday, and I also went for my follicle scan yesterday, and so I have a 20 millimeter follicle and a 22 millimeter follicle now. My right side is my lead right now. So, and my lining was good. So today is Thursday, and they're predicting that I should ovulate somewhere between Sunday and Monday. So I start my ovulation kits tomorrow. Um, I am optimistic about this one. Like I never want to feel like I don't have any hope or anything, because that's like not the case at all. Um, it's just like I put so much into like my second round, like it's gonna work, like it has to work because it worked the first time. And I think that when it didn't work, it made me have to deal with the fact that I had that ectopic pregnancy. Because in my mind, like it's still hard for me to believe or accept that I was pregnant, because I found out that I was pregnant on June 23rd, and then July 4th, I found out that I was gonna lose my baby. So that's all of like 11 days that I got to enjoy the fact of being pregnant. So like it's really really hard for me, and I don't know if anybody else who's had like an early miscarriage like I did, like if they experience the same thing. Like it's really hard to accept the fact that like you were pregnant, because you never got to see like a baby on a monitor or a heartbeat, or 11 days pregnant. Like that is just like like you really didn't get to experience anything. So like I felt like that depression, like I had to deal with that, and I had to like talk about that. And when I have like a lot of things like overwhelming me, like my thing is to back away. So that's what I did. Like I backed away, and I went to go speak to my therapist, because that's what she gets paid to do. Like she's the perfect person for me to talk to, because she's trained in like dealing with this stuff. And I didn't want to bring this to you guys because I just don't feel like YouTube is the place to be like negative and angry. And I mean, not that I was like negative. I wouldn't say like I was like negative. And I wasn't really angry. Like I was disappointed and I wasn't like excited or like yeah, like I wasn't there, so this wasn't the place for me to be. And when I did find out the day that I found out that it didn't work, like there was just a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff going on like in like the TTC community that I don't necessarily 100% agree with. I mean, like we all deal with things differently, but I just feel like this is a place like okay, when I started watching YouTube videos, I came which most people come to YouTube like you'll put in how to this or such and such success. Like when I came on, like I was looking for women who had PCOS. When I started taking Femera, it was um Femeric success. Like it was something that I needed to like uplift me and to keep me going and to motivate me and to believe in that it's possible with what I have that I can one day have a baby. And my Instagram, like I took my Instagram down. I do have another one, but I'm not posting what it is because I'm being very selective on who I choose to follow and who I choose to allow to follow me. Because there's just a lot of like negativity and like weird, crazy stuff that like goes on. And like I think that we have to be careful. Like somebody had put that like they want to steal somebody's baby. Like to me that was crazy like to say that. Or like women who are jealous of other people who are pregnant or like they want to cause like harm to somebody or hope harm that some to somebody else that's pregnant. Like it is not like our job to decide who gets pregnant or to say that it's not fair that somebody else gets pregnant. A lot of people don't know about the things that we deal with trying to get pregnant. When I was younger, I thought that it was you find somebody, you get married. What was the song? Whatever in the partridge tree, and then you have a baby, and like you get married, you have a baby. Like like that's what we're taught that it's like that. Nobody ever told us that like I've been married for 7 years and like I still don't have a baby. Um, this wasn't my goal, like to be 31 years old and not have a baby, but it is what it is. Like this is my situation. This is what I'm dealing with. And I feel like it's my job that I decided to share my story with the world to be as, I guess, uplifting and give as much information. And yeah, I'll have days where like I don't feel excited about like not having like my goal of having a baby, but there's so many other things that I can be thankful for. Um, and there's just like a lot of stuff that I see and things that people say and like they're jealous of like their friend because like their friend is pregnant. Like at the end of the day, it is not I don't think that it's responsible for us to make other people who have normal functioning bodies feel bad that their bodies do what it's intended to do. It is unfortunate, yes, that we have to go through what we go through, but you have to find some joy in something and let that energy out, that negativity out in a different kind of way. Um, like I know my go-to person of which our stories aren't anything alike, but like I always get inspiration from her and it keeps me going. And that's waiting for God's miracle. Like her story, if you don't know her story, like go find her. Waiting for God's miracle. Like the things that she's been through and from losing her babies to losing her tubes to like her fail I think her first IVF failed and then they tried again and like they're pregnant with their child. Like it is amazing like how much inspiration and like joy I always got from watching her videos because it was always like I'm gonna stay encouraged because I know God is in control. And at the end of the day, if you believe in God, then you know that at some point you end up with a child. Like you have to stay faithful and believe that we are not like don't think that like whatever you're going through like you're the first to go through it. There are many women in the Bible who suffered with infertility. Like this is nothing new under the sun and like you have to stay focused. And when you feel um like just angry and negative, like in my opinion, like this is not the place for it. Like just putting negative stuff in the world, and then in this community, like to me, like if you say that like you're jealous of somebody else being pregnant, but you're in like a TTC community, like it's kind of putting the people who've been through what you've been through and ended up getting pregnant. It kind of like, so how can you be happy for them? And I'm gonna say for me, I've never been in a place of being jealous of somebody else being pregnant, and I thank God that I've never been in that situation. Like on Instagram, I had shared, I had went to the zoo, and like all these women were walking around pregnant, and I was just amazed that like it's God's miracle that that you get to like bring a child into the world. Like it's not a joke of bringing like a child into the world. And the thing that I try to like get people to understand is when you see somebody that's pregnant, you don't know what their journey was to get that baby. Like their journey may be exactly like yours, or it may have been worse, and like you just don't know. So relish in the fact that they have a child and they're bringing it into the world, and be happy that that's what you might end up with one day. You might end up being pregnant. So enough with that rant that I was having. I just needed to, because I just see like some like real not good stuff, and yeah. So that's what's happening now. So me and Carl will be baby dancing um in a couple. Well, we're supposed to be baby dancing every other day now. We kind of, yeah, we don't really need like a schedule because but to every, like I haven't been on here in a while, and like I know there are a lot of women who are pregnant now, and like I just want to tell you guys, like I'm so very happy for you, and congratulations. To all my new subscribers, like thank you for subscribing to me even though I haven't made a video in a while. To all my people that's still struggling, like hold on to hope and like faith and trust and believe that it's gonna work. And we don't know exactly when it's gonna work, but it's gonna work. Um, I'm trying to think what else is going on. I've had like a couple of baby buys, like that hasn't stopped. Um, I also had found out this website from a friend of mine, and I ended up getting a free tub, but I don't think they're still giving out the information. Well, they still have like the rewards thing, but not exactly like how I got the gift card. But I'll um I guess insert a picture and show you guys what I got. Um and I think that's it. I promise not to stay away this time. Um I'm feeling better, I'm doing better. Um Still going to my therapy, and then we have group therapy on Wednesdays. So excuse me. Um I guess that's it for now. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.